Okay, I came across the Boyd Bushman story years ago, and many years he sat down and he gave this confession. He worked under Lockheed Martin at Area 51, and he claims to have been presented evidence that there were live beings there, aliens, other dimensionals, whatever they are, and that he was presented with this information. Now, here he is talking, and I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's over 30 minutes long.
I have 27 patents. Approximately 13 years ago, I ran across a person who had been given a job by Dr. Teller. Dr. Teller was Oppenheimer's right-hand man, and even after Oppenheimer was thrown out of Area 51, Dr. Teller stayed there and was in charge of several programs.
Well, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll let you watch it at your leisure. But he does show photographs, and there are other people talking, and it's really interesting, and I find him very compelling and very believable. And I think that he's telling the truth. I think that he's not lying about this. But when I came across his story years ago, I assumed that he had been misled or pranked. Because there was a very compelling debunking that was done showing that the being that he was shown in this photo was in fact a doll. And, you can see there is a doll that was made to look exactly like that. And so when I came across his story, I found the debunking on it very persuasive, and I was convinced that he had been pranked or duped. Now, let me be clear, I've also done stories on a previous Lockheed Martin Skunk Works engineer who worked on the SR-71 back in the early 60s. And back then he said his engineer buddies at Skunk Works were working with beings, live beings, that were helping the control group and the soldiers with this training device, helping them construct this training device to teach them how to fly UFOs. And it was shortly after that that human-flown UFOs began to be seen with some regularity. So by all means, I think there were live beings at Area 51 and other places working with the control group, and specifically with Lockheed Martin. But I did think that the Boyd Bushman story was, just an example of him being pranked or misled. However, there are new claims saying that not so fast, that was a doll created specifically to debunk his story. So let's just go through it. Think tank. Doll has been ruled out. Boyd Bushman deathbed confession is trending to be real. And of course, Boyd is a very credible person. Here's, all his patents that he has, like you said, I think there are almost 30 of them. And he is who he says he was, as far as we can tell. They created a fake alien doll to discredit this photograph. In light of recent events, I think this is worth watching again. And I do. And I will link to this, and you can watch the full Boyd Bushman interview or presentation or confession at your leisure. But here we go. So, UAP Moultrie says, I love that UAP Moultrie pass. Clever way to discredit, actually. Create a doll that looks exactly like an actual being and claim the original pic, the doll, but Bushman's amount of patents is something else, though. Yeah. Fractal Source Research says the CIA or whoever tried to discredit this by manufacturing a photograph of a man posing with a toy alien in a retail store. However, the person that created the photo used a film filter on it instead of a still filter, so it looked like it had been in a projector hundreds of times, whereas it was supposed to be a Polaroid type photo. So in other words, they made a fake, but they, and they tried to make this look like an older photo and an older doll. But in fact, it was faked, and this person believes they were able to catch the fake. Think Tank has made this very helpful GIF or GIF. Which is it? To compare the two. And there are differences. Could they simply be differences in lighting or paint? Or is there something more going on than that? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Think Tank also says, yes, they created a toy based on his photograph to discredit him. There's no record of it ever being sold. And I don't know if that's the case or not, but it is definitely an intriguing thought, and definitely not out of the realms of what the control group is capable of doing, to put out a product to discredit a fake product that was never even for sale anywhere, because, that's totally possible. Although, as you've seen, there are dolls that people have had that may be mock-ups or, inspired by the Boyd Bushman story to sell those dolls that came out later. So I really don't know what the truth of that is, but I definitely wouldn't put it past the control group to do such a thing. Okay, here are some photos that Boyd sent to a researcher and provided by Think Tank. And there is another couple of photos where Think Tank is saying you can see eye movement. You can see a difference in how open the eyes are. So what do you think? Is there a difference between those two? And then there is this here, where you can see that the eyes here are clearly more closed than in this picture. And of course, Think Tank provides the comment, dolls don't blink. And that's a good point. Unless it is a blinking doll, okay, yes, there are those, but I don't think that's what's on display here. However, it could be photoshopped. It could be a manipulated image. Always possible. Here's a GIF of the being blinking. And, if that's a legitimate image, if it's a GIF of two pictures put together that are legitimate and not Photoshopped, then absolutely that's very compelling evidence that this was a live being. And Think Tank goes on to say Bushman also revealed that he had received death threats in that security personnel had attempted to discredit him and tried to keep him from talking to the public. And of course, if that's true, that is further compelling evidence. So let me know what you guys think about the Boyd Bushman story and whether any of these new pictures or ideas are persuasive to you in the comments below. I'm still on the fence about the Boyd Bushman story. I think that he was telling the truth as he knew it. It's possible that he was misled by, pranksters. It's also possible that this is actually an image of a live being, and I do believe there were live beings working with the control group at Area 51, so it's not outside the realms of possibility as I see it.